everybody, thanks for joining us once again on this Marriage Minute. My name is Dino Watt. I'm your marriage mentor and the author and CEO of The Business of Marriage. What I wanted to talk to you today is really important. It's a very important subject, and it can be kind of touchy too. It's all about sex. Therefore, we're in our bedroom. I think this is the only time a video camera has ever been in our bedroom, so don't tell my wife. So what we're doing right now is I just want to talk to you a little bit about sex, not so much go into detail. If you haven't purchased our sex CD, our Let's Talk About Sex CD, it is awesome. It's a conversation between my wife and I about some of the struggles and challenges that we went through, that we have had friends go through, that we've talked about. That it's just an awesome CD because there's a lot of different scenarios. But what I wanted to do for you today is give you a little recommendation. This book right here, it's called The Act of Marriage. It's by Tim and Beverly LaHaye. It is an amazing book. This book was given to me and Shannon as a gift before we were married. For those of you that don't know our story, Shannon and I actually did not have sex before we were married. We don't believe in that. We believe that we needed to save that till we got married. And we are so happy we did. I can tell you how many times we've talked about how important it is for us that we shared that special moment. Well, this book, though, is actually by a pastor. And it goes into some very, very, very intense details. It goes over a lot of psychological issues too that you can go through when it comes to sex in your marriage. But it's called The Act of Marriage. It's a great book. I highly recommend you go and get it. I mean, there's only like 2.5 million in print. That's pretty good. So even as a pastor, it goes into specific detail. So if you're one of my couples out there who are getting ready to get married and you're choosing to abstain from sex too before you get married, go ahead and get this book. Do not read it together. It's very graphic. It's very, in a very good way. It's very instructive and it teaches you a lot. A little bit of tidbits there. One of the greatest things that I talked about in this book that helped my wife and I both was, since we grew up in a background where we believed in not having sex before marriage, we obviously were taught, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then all of a sudden, with just 2 words, I do, all of a sudden we can do whatever we want in bed. And so I know there are a lot of people out there that might be struggling with that as well. This book, one of the things that kind of turned our brain on a little bit was the idea that God, or if you want to call it the universe or your higher power, whatever it is, whatever being created you or universe created you, it created all of you as good. So every piece of you, every part of you is a good thing. It is a spiritual thing. It is a wonderful thing. And when you get to share that with somebody that you love, that is just enhances it even more. So that's just what I want to touch on real quickly about sex, because it is a very important subject. I love it when we have our discussions about sex. I love our CD about sex because in my 2-day course, we go into the importance of it. We tell you some personal stories about Shannon and I and what we had to go through because, hey, it wasn't all rosy. And once you get kids involved, holy moly, right? It's like you're worried about just them. The biggest fear is not mom and dad catching you anymore when you're a teenager. It's now the idea of them rushing in on you or knocking on the door, right? And so it's just one of those things where I want to stress to you that it's important to understand the importance of your sexual life together. That sex in a marriage is crucial, and good sex is just vital to everyone's happiness. There are studies out that show that when you're having a good sex life in your marriage, you're not only, I mean, you have everything from whiter teeth, yeah, there's a study on that, to you have less bouts of depression in your life. So I would encourage you to make sure that you focus on your sex life a little bit. If you need to, pick up our CD, order our CD online for Let's Talk About Sex. Get this book. It's a great book. I make nothing off of this book. I just really enjoy it. Tim and Beverly LaHaye have a great way of talking about it and helping you understand one another. If you're a husband and wife, this is a great read together. So please go out and get this book. It's awesome. Maybe we'll do some more tips on what Shannon and I have found in our sex lives later on. But please make sure that you check into your own sex life and make sure that's working at its best. All right? Well, thank you again for joining us on this Marriage Minute. My name is Dino Watt, and I wish you the best of luck in all that you do in your own business of marriage.